Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Welcome back to another card crafting tutorial. In this video, I'm creating a one-layer card. It's a very simple card, but I think it turned out really cute in the end, and it was a lot of fun to create. I'm starting out by using some Canson XL watercolor paper. I just love this paper. I'm cutting it down to 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's going to be a top folding card. And then I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. I'm not going to crease it at this time, I'm just scoring it. It will lay better for me to color on and to stamp on if I don't crease it yet. The stamp set I'm using is from My Favorite Things, and it's called Friends Furever. I just love the images in this set. They're bigger, and I like big images to color in. It consists of a lot of cute teddy bears and dogs and birds, and I just love all the sentiments that come with it. I'm trying to figure out where I want to stamp these images, and I've decided I wanted to stack them. So I need to stamp the bird first, and I'm using some VersaFine Onyx black ink to do this. It's a nice crisp ink. I'm using the rough side of the watercolor paper, and so I end up stamping it twice. Then I use what ink is left on the stamp. I put down a piece of sticky note paper, and this is the kind that's completely sticky, and I just stamp that onto it, and then I can create a mask. Once I have my mask in place, I'm going to stamp out the little dog. Now I'm creating a mask for the dog, and I'm only cutting out the bottom of the images right now because that's all I need. And lastly, I'm stamping out one of the little teddy bears that's sitting down. After I allowed my stamped images to dry for a little bit, I can get started on the coloring. The VersaFine ink doesn't dry as quickly as the dye inks do, so I gave it about 10 minutes. I'm using some Faber-Castell polychromos pencils to color in these images. I like to keep my pencils really sharp so that it can get into the tooth of this paper. This paper is kind of rough. And I'm laying down lots of layers. After I finish my coloring, I'm going to come back in with some Gamsol or some odorless mineral spirits. The more layers of colored pencil you have, the less speckled your image will be. Sometimes the white of the paper shows through if you don't have enough pigment on there. I have a list of the colored pencils I used over on my blog if you're interested. Now I'm coming in with a blending stump and a little bit of the Gamsol. And you can see how it brightens up the colored pencils a little bit. I just love using Gamsol. The pigment doesn't move much on this paper, so when I blend out the darker areas of my image, they don't cover up the lighter areas. I let the Gamsol dry for a few minutes. It doesn't take that long. And then I go back in with some darker colored pencils to add more shadows, and also some lighter ones to add highlights. And then I go in with even more Gamsol and smooth out my colored pencils. I've sped up the coloring so that you can see most of it. I've put on some music, and then I'll catch up with you at the end of the coloring. I've decided to use my masks again, and I'm putting these back on so that I can add some color around these little characters. For that, I'm going to pull out my distress inks, and I'm just using two colors, Salty Ocean for the top and Mowed Lawn for a little bit of grass effect around the teddy bear. I'm tapping off the ink before I apply it to my card panel so that I don't get any harsh lines. These distress inks blend really well onto this Canson watercolor paper. I don't want the ink to be too dark, so I'm just using a very light hand to blend these onto the paper. Here I'm going in with my Mowed Lawn, and I make sure to tap it off first and then apply it to my card panel. You'll see my son's little hand in the shot here in a second. He thought that green color on the oval piece of paper was pretty neat, so he had to have that. There it is. Green is his favorite color. Now for a really fun part. I love taking off the masks and seeing how it turned out. I've pulled out all of my green polychromos pencils, and I just want to add a little bit of grass for the bear to sit in. All of these different shades of green will add a little bit of depth to my coloring. I'm using some Gamsol here as well, just at the bottom of the grass, just to kind of blend in the bottom of the grass with the dirt. Now on to my sentiment. I'm using my Mini Misty again for this. I've finally decided to put washi tape over my magnets. It really is a lot easier to pick up these magnets with the washi tape on them. This sentiment says, "You make my heart happy," and I'm going to break it up a bit. I didn't want to cut my sentiment. I'm just not brave enough to do that. So I'm using some more sticky note paper here to mask off the words. I'm stamping "You make" at the top left-hand side of my panel. Next, I'm going to stamp "My heart." And then at the very bottom under the bear, I'm stamping the word "happy." I just love how this one layer simple card turned out. It's going to be very easy to pop into the mail to someone. Now I can fold my card in half and smooth that down with my bone folder. I'm not adding any sequins or even shimmer to this card. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video on your favorite social media. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye!